Welcome to the 2013 MAAC Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. In our third men's quarterfinal, it's the Fairfield Stags against the Ryder Broncs from the Mass Mutual Center here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Two semifinalists have already punched their tickets. Niagara and Iona will meet in tomorrow's first semi at 2 o'clock. Ryder and Fairfield trying to join them in the nightcap. The winner will survive and advance. And welcome everybody to Springfield. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy. Glad you could join us here for our third quarterfinal on a long Saturday here in Springfield. Ryder comes into this ball game as the number 2 seed in the tournament and the hottest team in the league, having won 5 in a row. Including a sweep in Western New York to get themselves the number 2 seed. But I don't think this is a team that they were hoping to see in the MAAC tournament. The Stags, the only team to sweep Ryder in the regular season. Okay, let's take a look at our Holiday Inn one-on-one for this ball game between the Stags and the Broncs. And we're going to be talking about senior guards all game long. Derek Needham, the face of this program for Fairfield. The last couple of years, he's had an up-and-down senior season, hoping to finish it on a high note. It was a high note last night with 24 points. On the other side, Jonathan Thompson with the breakout senior season. At times throughout his career, one of the more underrated players in the MAAC, but this year getting the respect of coaches across the league. One of the reasons why he was on the second team All-MAAC. And let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Kron's. Starting with the Stags, the number 7 seed, coming off the win over St. Peter's in the first round game last night. They are led by Needham, Nickerson, and Wade, their trio of senior guards in the backcourt. And for the Ryder Broncs, a lot of experience there as well. Nuruddin Lindsay, the St. John's transfer, John Thompson, Anthony Miles, Daniel Stewart, and Dira Ndi Azuma. Ryder actually finished in a tie for second place in the regular season standings at 12-6 along with Loyola. And there is Sidney Johnson as we take a look at our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock. Sidney Johnson with that 40-29 record since leaving his alma mater 2 years ago to take over as head coach of the Fairfield Stags. He's a 1997 graduate of Princeton University. And there's Kevin Baggett out of St. Joseph's University. He is a rookie head coach, about to coach his first postseason game where the buck stops with him. Longtime assistant at Ryder, but he's about to experience something, Rob, that he has never experienced before.
No, but he's not coached like a rookie all season long. Terrific job in his first season.
As the higher seed, Ryder in its home white uniforms. Gary Tracy, Kevin Ferguson, John Corso are officials, and quarterfinal number 3 of the MAAC championships are underway. The Broncs with the basketball first. Thompson, the turnaround, left it well short. And a foul called. Goes against Fairfield. The Stags in their road red uniforms. And we talked about this in one of our earlier games, Rob, about Siena having to have played last night and then play in the afternoon game at 2:30 today. For these Fairfield Stags, probably even tougher. They were in the 9:30 game last night, didn't get out of here until midnight or later. And here they are playing, 18 hours later.
And in a ball game that, much like Siena's game, was a terrific game and came down to the last couple of possessions. Stags once again struggling on the offensive end, able to pull it out late against the Peacocks.
That foul was on Colin Nickerson, and Azuma with 1 out of 2 from the line. You can see Fairfield a year ago made it to the MAAC championship game where they lost to Loyola. The Greyhounds will be coming up in our 4th and final quarterfinal later on tonight here in Springfield. Desmond Wade called for traveling. But Des Wade is not that far removed from a fairly serious knee injury. But the chances of having Wade, Nickerson, and Needham on the floor for the majority of the game, I guess, is the way Sidney Johnson feels his team has its best chance to win.
And clearly that's their best chance. You put those senior trio of guards out there, they're a much better team offensively.
And there they are, Nickerson the steal. Wade sets up Needham, but he couldn't finish the play.
All 3 of those seniors got a touch on that possession, and as a result, you get a good open look from three.
Nickerson blocked the shot from behind. Daniel Stewart on the putback and a chance for three. Let's take a look at the Geico keys to the game. Rob Kennedy.
Well, we were talking about the fact that Fairfield, they have those trio of guards. They need some senior moments. Hard to send those seniors packing in a tournament situation. They've got to protect the paint. They got to keep the guards out of the lane, and then they've got to defend the rim against Danny Stewart, something they haven't done the last two possessions. For Ryder, they've got to take care of the basketball. 48 turnovers combined in their two losses to Fairfield, and then they want to cut off the head. That was one of the keys coming in. They thought it was really important to make sure that Derek Needham didn't go off. Contain him. That's one of the things the Peacocks weren't able to do last night when he scored 24.
Keith Matthews just into the game, replacing Amadou Sidibe, who picked up his first personal foul and immediately was taken out of the game by Sidney Johnson for a teaching moment. And so the MAAC co-rookie of the year sits early on tonight. Needham blocked. There's that length that we've talked about in the backcourt. The defense that these guards from Ryder can really cause a problem. They're just playing volleyball on the offensive glass. Finally, Needham comes away with it.
Yeah, the Bronx with a ton of energy to start. They've got 4 offensive rebounds already.
Missed assignment there, the easy two. Maurice Barrow, junior from Hollis, Queens, gets the Stags on the board.
So they picked up the MAAC 6th Man of the Year award earlier, and right after that, they put him in the starting lineup.
Yep. Stewart calling for steps. Sidney Johnson is irate on the Fairfield bench. There are the games you were talking about, Rob. December 9th down in New Jersey. Fairfield won that game 65-62, and then just over a month ago in Connecticut, the Stags won 69-59, and Barrow goes for those career-high 25 points.
Yeah, along with 10 rebounds, and was a huge factor in that ball game. As we mentioned, the biggest stat, though, were turnovers from the Ryder Bronx. 48 in their 2 games.
Matthews. Nice looking move off the window.
And Matthews played just 4 minutes the other night. His minutes have been dwindling as of late, but he gets the call early here tonight. Not only does he get in the game, but they throw it into him as if he's a go-to guy.
Stewart, tough turnaround shot.
Yeah, tough turnaround. Good defense by Barrow. That was one of the keys for Kevin Baggett. In the last couple of games, he has not felt that Danny Stewart has been as aggressive as he was earlier in the season on the offensive end.
Off the turnover, Nuruddin Lindsay with Wade to beat. Count the basket. That was going in anyhow. Maurice Barrow called for goaltending.
The last time out, Nuruddin Lindsay with 11 points in that ball game in the win at Canisius. First time, Doug, since back in early January that Lindsay was able to score it in double figures.
His average is down to 8.4 per game. Junior out of West Philadelphia, out of Overbrook High School.
They get off to a great start. First game in a Bronx uniform, 26-5 against a very good Robert Morris team. Ended up being the MAAC Player of the Week in the first week, and that's really what they expected of Nuri Lindsay. I think the most amazing thing for these Ryder Bronx is that they've got 18 wins, despite the fact that they really haven't gotten a lot from Lindsay, especially midway through the season and on.
Junior Fortunat fouled on the way up by Keith Matthews. That's the first on the 6'5 junior from Sebastian, Florida. That's Fortunat, a 6'9", 235-pound sophomore from Montreal, shooting 2 at the line. Young man out of Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia has shown signs of being a force.
Yeah, especially last 3 games, 12 of 15 from the field. He has struggled big time from the foul line, though, on the season, just 39% coming in. So if he's going to go 12 for 15 from the field, Hackashat, put him to the line, make him earn it.
And his struggles illustrated there, 0 for 2. Good hustle, though, by Anthony Miles, and so Ryder keeps the ball.
I mean, you got a 39% foul shooter on the line. You got to be aware, and you got to be able to block out and rebound the basketball. You know, when a 90% guy misses it and somebody slips by, you say, all right. But when a 39% guy misses, that's inexcusable.
Needham to Nickerson. Second time the Stags have had an opportunity on the break and have not cashed in. Miles. No. Nickerson very active on both ends.
And he was flying around the court last night as well. Nickerson with great energy last night when his team was really stuck in the mud, especially offensively. And on these high ball screens, you got to be careful with Nickerson. He loves to split it and get in the lane.
Here is Nickerson. And here come the Bronx. Again, it's Nuri Lindsay. Miles leans in. A little too high off the glass. And a jump ball is held between Fortunat and Barrow. Back after this in Springfield.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew? Is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Well, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
The ones who inspire us. The ones who make us laugh. The ones with the strong shoulder to lean on. The ones we're named after. And the ones named after us. It takes all kinds of good to make a family. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Geico. Oh, sorry.
Here we go from the top. And action.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Gecko.
Cut it.
What did I say? Gecko. I said Gecko. Oh. For over 75 years...
Keep it together.
I'm good. For over 70... What are you doing there? Stop making me laugh.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Don't look at me.
The 2013 MAAC basketball tournament is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Anaconda Sports, home of The Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. The Jimmy Fund. Text Jimmy to 22122 to contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund today. Geico. See how Geico can save you 15% or more on your car insurance by visiting geico.com today. And by the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Visit Massachusetts.com for more information. Let's go. And we are back in Springfield, Massachusetts on a Saturday evening with our third quarterfinal game being played. Early stages, Ryder with the 3-point lead over Fairfield. And then our nightcap will be the Loyola Greyhounds against the Manhattan Jaspers. Following this one, with Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you could join us here for this long day of MAAC basketball. Had 2 women's semifinals played here on this same floor this morning. Barrow spots up and shoots an air ball. Fortunate backing down and the reach-in foul. Second foul on Matthews, and so he heads out. Josip Mikolic, a 7-foot freshman from Croatia, comes in. Tallest member of this Fairfield roster that really doesn't have a lot of size and height together. You know, Mikulich is tall, but he's more of a perimeter type player, at least on the offensive end. Stewart, well short. Rebound Marcus Gilbert, one of the terrific-looking young freshmen for Fairfield.
It's a very deep and talented freshman class for the Stags.
Out of bounds was Gilbert. You got to acquaint yourself with the new surroundings. Never played a game until this week here on this floor. Fairfield did play here last night, but you got to get used to the way it looks around here and how much room there is to work with.
The other thing with the NBA three-point line, sometimes you get yourself off balance a little bit. You know, from the college three-point line, you think you got another extra foot or so before the sideline. But the Stags have been pretty successful here in this building. Now 4-1 over the last 2 seasons, including a 2-1 mark last year when they were able to advance to the championship game.
Pass to no one. Fairfield basketball. And the reason why they have the NBA three-point line on the floors here at the floor here at the Mass Mutual Center is that they have a D-League team, the Springfield Armor. They'll, of course, have to be on the road for this long weekend, but that's why we've got the three-point line. Gilbert fouled on the turnaround. He will shoot 2.
And Gilbert's a guy who's probably more comfortable out on the perimeter, but he's got a size advantage, at least 3-4 inches against Nuri Lindsay, and so he takes advantage in the post.
Sean Valentine gets his first action of the night for Ryder.
Gilbert, a guy who's on the MAAC all-rookie team, and he may have the best upside of any of the freshmen in this league. He's got good size, he's got perimeter skills, and as he fills out, matures a little bit physically, he could be a monster in this league.
I agree. But it was Sidibe who was co-rookie of the year, as announced on Thursday, along with Shane Richards of Manhattan.
Well, Sidibe, a guy who's more capable of playing right now physically. I mean, he's a guy that, when you look at him, he doesn't look like a freshman.
Mikulich. Front rimmed it. Valentine running up court is called for a foul. His first. And the second against Ryder.
You always got to love when the official's the only person in the building with a couple thousand people who sees a play.
And so with that, Valentine heads back to the bench. Clean block, and it'll go the other way.
A good drive by Nickerson, but here comes a couple of different guys to challenge it. It's a big-time defensive block. Split it. You know how they have sacks where you give a half sack to everybody? Split that block shot. Give a half to each of those 2 defenders.
And Nickerson gets a break after taking that ball, would look like, ricocheting off his face. Fortunat fouled again.
So for as much pace as we had in our last ball game, where Iona and Canisius are up and down the floor, you didn't expect that one coming in this ball game. You know, both these teams are good defensively. It's weird how the whole bracket's set up this year, Doug.
Yeah.
When you look at the left side of the bracket, you got teams that are really good on the offensive end, and then on the right side of the bracket, you have the best defensive teams on one side.
Fans use the hashtag MAACHoops when tweeting about your MAAC basketball team. Hashtag MAACHoops is the best way to get all the information on basketball happenings around the league. Fortunat gets one. And there's what you've got to do. Hashtag MAACHoops. Here's Needham. And he whiffed on the layup.
They made the more difficult part of the play. That was taking it off the handoff and getting to the rim. Just completely misfired point blank. It's been a struggle offensively for the Stags the last 4 games, averaging under 50 points per game. And as well, in each of those 4 games, they've shot it at under 40%.
Fortunat with the bucket.
And as good as your defense is, you still got to be able to do something on the offensive end when you're playing other good teams.
Wade crosses over. Thompson clears the rebound. Stewart traveling. 10-6, Ryder with a 4-point lead over Fairfield. Back to the MAAC Mutual Center after this.
Canisius College is committed to academic and athletic excellence. The Jesuit tradition prepares students for a lifetime of service. From the classroom to hands-on experience, Canisius students are ready to succeed. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with a focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew? Is that you? I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
Welcome back to the MAAC Mutual Center. Ryder with a 4-point lead over Fairfield. And now we'd like to welcome in the third member of our evening side broadcast, Ed Cohen, who's standing by with Kevin Baggett of the Ryder Bronx.
Coach, 48 combined turnovers for your team the first 2 times against Fairfield. How do you get the pace in your favor tonight?
Well, we just got to do a good job, first of all, defending those guys. And then secondly, when we do get it and they don't make a basket, we got to get ready to race it up the court and try and get them before they get into half court.
Daniel Stewart, some nights he'll take 4 shots, others he'll take 13 shots. What do you hope to see from him in terms of his approach?
Well, tonight we got to go down low. That's the key to the game. Points in the paint for us. We got to get the ball inside to Daniel Jr., Darazuma, and the guards got to get it in there as well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach Baggett. And so far on the flip side for Fairfield, we talked about the veteran backcourt of Needham, Nickerson, and Wade. But so far, they have not gotten much of anything, if at all, from those 3 guys, Rob.
No, Needham 0 for 3, Wade 0 for 2, and Nickerson 0 for 3. So we said senior moments. They've been moments to forget so far. Talked about how important those points in the paint are for the Ryder Bronx. It's been a struggle so far to score no matter where you are on the floor for Fairfield. 2 of 12 from the floor, including 0 for 5 from beyond the 3-point line.
Ryder presses. Zedric Sadler, freshman guard for the Bronx, defending on Derek Needham. Tommy Pereira has also checked in for the Bronx. Tough assignment here for him, trying to keep Gilbert out of the lane. Sidibe couldn't handle the pass. Tommy Pereira got himself there in a tough spot.
Yeah, as you said, that was a tough defensive assignment. A little blow by. Pass was low for Sidibe, but he's got to be able to come up with that catch and finish in the paint.
Sidibe had 6 points and 13 rebounds in the win over St. Peter's last night. Sadler's from Detroit, Michigan. And he has been a solid presence on what has been an extremely balanced rider team. I mean, they don't have that one guy like a Momo Jones or a Billy Barron that point to. They have a deep roster of guys who contribute. Daniel Stewart called for the charge.
Oh, you're right. And that balance and being able to not key on one guy has made them a better team as a whole. And good defense, moving your feet right there defensively to pick up the charge. Maurice Barrow, a guy that can lean on you if you're going to try to post him up, but can also go guard guys on the perimeter, a versatile defender.
We heard Kevin Baggett say to Ed Cohen a few minutes ago that he needs a more proactive approach from Daniel Stewart. We saw that just a moment ago. Unfortunately for them, he picked up an offensive foul.
But he'll take that. As a coach, if you want guys to be aggressive and go find shots, you're not afraid if they pick up a charge here or there.
Brick thrown up by Maurice Barrow.
And that time, Gilbert a little too unselfish. He had a three, passed it up. Instead, it ends up in Barrow's hands, who's now 3 of 17 on the season from beyond the three-point line.
Nickerson wide open. And he gets it.
Well, that credit Des Wade. He's not going to get the assist for that, but his ability to get out in open space and put pressure on the defense in transition allowed a wide open look from Nickerson.
Sadler left his feet. Nickerson all over him. And now a held ball. Possession arrow goes the other way. Nickerson a little bit slow in getting up. Just like he was last night, Nickerson is flying all over the floor.
All over the floor. And it was a flying play early on by Des Wade that allowed the Stags to get out in transition. Defense all runs back into the paint to take away his speed in the open floor. And that allows Nickerson to step right in to an open three.
Nickerson took his eye off the pass from Wade, and it slipped right through his hands. And Nickerson says to Wade, "What are you doing now?" He says, "It is my bad." Stewart drives and dishes, and now tries to post up. Thompson for two.
That was a tough two because Nickerson, one of the better defenders on the perimeter in this league, was hanging all over him.
Here's that matchup on the other end, and Thompson will get after you pretty well also.
Yeah, those two guys matching against each other. Two of the best perimeter defenders in the MAAC.
Foul on the post again as Pereira gets caught.
There's the ball screen. You get him by you first. You see good defense as well. Went up to challenge but pulled back so as not to foul him. But it coming off that high ball screen gave Thompson just a little bit of an opening to get that off.
Well, Rob, I do marvel at somebody like Nickerson who was able to recover so quickly. You know, he recovers from the initial move to be able to still get back and make it a very tough shot.
Well, he's a terrific athlete and has good size and length out on the perimeter.
Wade cutting to the basket. Blocked shot by Jonathan Thompson.
Well, Kevin Baggett was trying to make a case that Thompson should certainly at least be in the conversation with Ramel Brown as the defensive player of the year in the MAAC. And if not for Brown and his ability to just dominate in the post defensively, you could see Thompson winning that award.
Do you agree that Ramel Brown is the defensive player of the year in the conference?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, over 3 blocks per game, but not just his block shots. The way that he anchors their defense in the paint, something special.
No doubt he impacts the game just with his defensive presence. Back to Springfield after this.
I'm excited for college, but financially, it's going to be a little hard. I have to apply for scholarships, definitely. Money is kind of a big topic for us for college.
Job placement is really important, especially in like today's economy, because I want to work as soon as I can to work off the debt and do, what I want to start doing for a living. I want to have the nice progression from, school to college.
Welcome back to the MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Our third men's quarterfinal is led by Ryder, 12-9, in a ball game that so far will not be headed down the street to the Hall of Fame. Come out to Lake Mercer in West Windsor, New Jersey on April 27th and watch the MAAC Men's and Women's Rowing Championships. You're a New Jersey guy. You going to be there, Rob?
I'll tell you what, it is the site of the U.S. rowing team's National Center, so why not? Maybe we'll swing down there.
Well, in this ball game so far, Fairfield has missed 13 of its 16 shot attempts, and they have laid some real eggs this year. What do you do? I mean, you watch basketball in this day and age, and you wonder what's going on sometimes when a team just can't seem to put the ball in the basket.
No, they had 31 points a couple of games ago in their loss against Manhattan, and they're so good defensively, but at times you got to be able to score the basketball. Remember, Sidney Johnson as well, part of the Princeton coaching family, and offense such a big part of what the Princeton guys all do offensively, and they're going to have to change things a little bit from the recruiting side, and Sidney's talked about that. They've got to get some more guys in that can make shots.
How about the takeaway by Thompson? Can they convert? No.
Well, I'd say there's a lid on the basket, but you and I watched a game here just a couple of minutes ago where there was no lid on the basket. Kevin Baggett's team missed another easy opportunity there. Problem for Ryder is poor as Fairfield's been on the offensive end, they've got just a 3-point lead.
They have some of the ugly statistical evidence. Stewart has his shot blocked. And again, as we always talk about, a big part of it is the tenacity on the defensive end. Needham able to finish that time. 1-point ball game.
No, you're right. Both these teams are really good defensively. That's been Fairfield the last couple of years. For Ryder, it's a huge change under first-year coach Kevin Baggett. They've been a team that's been known for their offensive flow. And I think one of the best things that he's been able to do in his first season is change their mindset a little bit and get the Bronx a little bit more committed to guarding the basketball.
Turnover forced by Sidney Johnson's Fairfield Stags, and they've got a chance to take the lead. Needham from way downtown.
You got to be able to find a better shot than that, especially when you're being guarded by Jonathan Thompson. He's got a lot of size. One of the strengths of this Ryder Bronx team is defending the three. They lead the MAAC at 30% because of the overall size of their guards. Really bother those three-point shooters.
Miles comes back and uses the screen by Azuma. And the steal. Here comes Needham. The finger roll.
And that was a tough one. He had two defenders coming right at him.
Well, Needham was the catalyst last night in their first round win. Trying to do it here again in the quarterfinal round.
Well, splits the two defenders. Nothing's easy. Nobody's going to concede any open looks and shots in this ball game. He's coming right at you. Splits the two defenders. Both guys go up to try and challenge and block it, but Needham up to that challenge.
Now Needham's had a terrific four-year run at Fairfield. Had a terrific homecoming game earlier this season, back in November when he went home to Chicago and played a DePaul team that could not hang with Derek Needham. He scored 29 points to torch the Blue Demons.
No, and as you said, a great 4-year career. Top 3 in Fairfield history in points and assists. He was in a slump the last couple of games coming down the stretch of this season, but his 24 points last night against St. Peter's snapped a slump where he was just 3 of 18 and 1 for 8 from 3 in the 2 games prior.
And he is the all-time three-point king in Fairfield basketball history, having passed Greg Francis for that honor. Long rebound comes to Sadler, and he gets tied up. And Rob, I can't mention the name Greg Francis without thinking about the marvelous run that Fairfield got on back in 1998 when they won from way behind in the pack. They had Shannon Bowman playing for Paul Cormier, and one of the great moments in MAAC history when Greg Francis and the Stags out in Buffalo that year wound up winning the MAAC championship, and then went into the NCAAs and gave the North Carolina Tar Heels all they could handle. So for any one of these teams at this tournament, there is hope that you could win 3 in a row or 4 in a row, and it could be you. Why not you?
Yep, and that's what's so magical about Championship Week and March Madness throughout college basketball. Every single team in the country has a chance to win a national championship when the season starts.
Red Sadler makes the first. And for one of the 10 teams that came to Springfield and opened competition last night with those 2 first-round games, one of those 10 in, 12 days is going to be somewhere in the NCAA tournament rubbing elbows with some of the Blue Bloods. An opportunity to play and perhaps shock the world.
And that's what makes the NCAA tournament. It's not just the Final Four. There's no better day than that first Thursday and Friday of the start of the NCAA tournament when you've got those great matchups, David and Goliath. And how about last year with a couple of 15s pulling off wins? Norfolk State, Lehigh with their win over Duke. Who had that in their bracket?
No, not me.
I don't think Brett Reed, the coach of Lehigh, had that in his bracket. Although he did know he had C.J. McCollum, so maybe he did. The rest of us didn't. And certainly this time of the year, if you're a college basketball fan, you're all over ESPN. And Joe Lunardi with his bracketology. Right now, he projects all the regular season champs as the winners in each of these leagues. And right now, he's got Niagara, who won the regular season in the MAAC, as a 15 seed going up against a team like Louisville. What I love now is all the moving parts with it. You and I get the updates from ESPN on our phone. And
I know.
4 times today he's already changed number 1 seeds and number 2 seeds. First 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out. It certainly keeps you entertained and keeps you interested in college basketball coming down the stretch of these next 8 days as we figure out who's going to be playing in the NCAA tournament.
Foul on Needham, his first.
And as I say that, look what just popped on my cell phone. Another message.
Bracketology.
Yep, switching it up once again.
So up to the minute, Rob, give it to us. Who are the 4 number 1 seeds according to Joe Lunardi at this moment?
Well, they've stayed constant throughout today. Gonzaga in the west, Kansas in the south, Indiana in the Midwest, and Duke in the east. Where the movement has been is the last 4 in and the last 4 out. And realistically, that's the biggest movement. Virginia now to the first 4 out after having started the day in the tournament. And so it will continue to be moving parts throughout the next week.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in this quarterfinal game of the MAAC tournament. And Maurice Barrows steals the entry pass. Needham off the hesitation. And the help side defender, Dira Ndiazuma, says, get that out of here. Gilbert puts it on the floor and finishes.
And that's why I think he's got as good a high side, upside potential as any freshman in the league. You got to go respect him at the three. How about that one dribble covering a ton of ground to go finish at the rim in traffic?
Fortunat gathers and gets it blocked from behind by Coleman Johnson.
As we said, neither team's going to concede anything. Every time a shot goes up, there's multiple hands to challenge defensively.
Fairfield looking to build on its largest lead of the night. Needham off the mark from three. Thompson pulls the trigger. Needham, instead of taking the shot, defers to Gilbert, who is howling at him for the ball. And Fairfield will have it when we come back. 16-14, Fairfield up by 2. Ryder turnovers have allowed Sidney Johnson's Fairfield Stags to take the 2-point lead, 16-14. Sidney Johnson's club looking for its 19th win of the season. With the basketball, Derek Needham stays on the Fairfield bench to rehydrate and catch his breath for the time being. Foul on the entry pass against Johnson. No single player in this ball game so far, Rob, has scored more than 4 points, and both sides shooting 25% from the floor. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the first half.
You know, coming in, you knew these were two of the better defensive teams in the league. And Stags lead the MAAC in scoring defense, holding opponents to 59 points per game. On the other side, Ryder really good in both field goal percentage numbers defensively, both from the field and from beyond the three, in the top 2 in the MAAC.
I'm sorry.
Not surprising it's low scoring, although you would have hoped for a little bit more offense.
Khalil Alford with the basketball has just come into the game, a freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. 5 to shoot. Valentine crosses over Johnson and puts it up. And the scrum continues. Fairfield basketball, Stags up 2. Needham replaces Nickerson, who high-fives his senior backcourt mates as he heads out. Nice look. There's some of the Princeton we're hoping for on the offensive end.
And to make it work, you have to have a high post center or a forward that can pass the basketball. Good backdoor cut. You're overplayed. Go backdoor. That was a set call from the sidelines. But the play's made because of the terrific pass from Maurice Barrow.
Well, let's take a look at our Pepsi Max slam of the game.
Let's call it the back door of the game as well. Terrific bounce pass. See the athleticism right here to be able to go finish it for Coleman Johnson, another member of that talented freshman class. They've got a lot of depth, and the future's bright here with that freshman class for Sidney Johnson and company.
The men's and women's tennis championships will be held from April 27th to the 28th at Mercer County Park in West Windsor, New Jersey. Don't miss a minute of the action and head out to support your MAAC team. I ask you again, Mr. Garden State, is that on your calendar?
It's a short ride straight across 195 for me. April 27, 28. Lucky for me, though, that's the live recruiting period for college basketball. So I will be out. I think either Philly or Pittsburgh, one of those two places, for AAU tournaments all over the place. So I will not be there. How about you?
Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead. I'm not sure. Now, Rob, you mentioned earlier in the half, and I don't know if we'll have time to get into it here, but Fairfield, you said Sidney Johnson going forward with the offense that he wants to run, he needs to recruit differently. What exactly would he be looking for that's different to better suit that style?
Well, when you look at this freshman class, they're guys with good skill sets, guys that are comfortable on the perimeter, whether it's a guy like Gilbert who can knock down shots, or Mikulich, even though he's 7 foot, he's more of a perimeter guy. Their senior guards are not quite that style of play. And they're not catch and shoot guys. They're guys that are going to try to beat you off the bounce.
Over and back violation. Needham turns it back over to Ryder with 8.2 on the clock. Now Nickerson comes back in. Wade will take a seat. And let's see what kind of shot Ryder can get off the inbound from midcourt. Jonathan Thompson, captain from Orlando, Florida, picks up his dribble and has to put it up. And that'll do it for the first half. Fairfield on top by 4. Sidney Johnson happy to have the 18-14 lead. Back with a MAAC halftime report right after this. Back at halftime, Fairfield with an 18-14 lead over Ryder in our third men's quarterfinal of the MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Ed Cohen, a moment ago, had a chance to catch up with John Thompson of the Ryder Bronx.
Jonathan, Derek Needham can shoot at any time. He sometimes shoots at all times. What as a defender do you always have to be aware of?
That what you just said, that he can pull it from wherever. So we just have a high hand, and if he make it, he make it.
During this recent run, you guys have shot very well in the second half. How do you keep that going into this second half?
Well, I don't think we're really going to be thinking about that. I think we're going to worry about getting stops as we are right now.
What's it like playing at a pace like this?
It's just frustrating to not be able to put up points. So we just got to keep grinding and getting stops.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ed. We're at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. We'll step away and come back with more of our halftime report. Fairfield leading by 4.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you? I got you, Wes. Just like old times. We'll get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
I am Sienna.
I am Sienna. I am Sienna.
I am Sienna.
Sienna College offers an exceptional private education with a unique foundation of liberal arts, career preparation, and Franciscan values.
Trophy isn't the only thing that makes us champions. Loyola University, Maryland.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and the Jimmy Fund are partnering up to support the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships. The Jimmy Fund raises funds for adult and pediatric cancer and research to improve the chances of survival for cancer patients around the world. To contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund, text Jimmy to 22122.
Welcome back to the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. We are at halftime. And this week we have been celebrating all of the award winners from around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference this year, including the first team All-Stars. And from that group, we have our MAAC Player of the Year.
The MAAC Men's Pepsi Max Player of the Year candidates. From Canisius, Billy Barron, a junior guard from East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Barron finished the regular season ranked 5th in the MAAC in scoring with 16.6 points per game and led the league in assists, dishing out 5.1 an outing for the Golden Griffins. Named MAAC Player of the Week on February 10th, he scored double-digit points in 26 out of 30 games in his first season playing for the Griffs. From Canisius, Billy Barron. From Iona, Lamont Jones, a senior guard from Harlem, New York. Jones earned a spot on the All-MAAC first team
after finishing the regular season leading the league in scoring with 23.2 points per game. He netted 45% of his attempts from the field and 87% from the free throw line. A two-time MAAC Player of the Week, Jones has posted double figures in 29 out of 30 games played this season for the Gals. From Iona, Lamont Jones. From Loyola, Dylan Cormier, a junior guard from Baltimore, Maryland. Cormier averaged 16.6 points per game, good for 6th place on the MAAC scoring chart during the regular season. He also finished second in the conference in steals, registering 1.9 takeaways a night for the Greyhounds. Named MAAC Player of the Week on February 18th, Cormier started all 30 games for Loyola and posted double digits in 27 of those games. From Loyola, Dylan Cormier. From Loyola, Eric Etherly, a graduate student forward from Alexandria, Virginia. A repeat selection from last year's All-MAAC first team, Etherly is 8th in the MAAC in scoring with 16.2 points per game and 7th in rebounding with 6.3 boards an outing. He is also 12th in the league in field goal percentage, as well as 5th in both steals and block shots. He's netted double-digit points in 22 contests for the Greyhounds and recorded 2 double-doubles this season. From Loyola, Eric Etherly. From Niagara, Wanye Green, a sophomore guard from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Green is currently 3rd in the MAAC in scoring with 17 points per game. He ranks 2nd in both assists per game and assist-to-turnover ratio, and 3rd in steals. Green connected on 41% of his attempts from the field and 80% of his attempts from the charity stripe. A two-time MAAC Player of the Week, he netted double-digit points in 25 out of 30 contests for Niagara. From Niagara, Wanye Green. From Niagara, Antoine Mason, a redshirt sophomore guard from Queens, New York. Mason closed out the regular season ranked 10th in free throw percentage, connecting on 77% of his attempts from the charity stripe, and 13th in field goal percentage, netting 44.4% of his shots from the field. He recorded double digits in 25 out of the 26 games played for Niagara this season. From Niagara, Antoine Mason.
And so congratulations to Lamont Momo Jones, joining a list of Iona Gales: Steve Burt, Mindaugas Tominskis, Kashif Hamid, Tariq Kirksey, and last year Scott Machado as MAAC Players of the Year. And congratulations to all of our award winners here in 2013. Take a break and come back with more of our halftime report from Springfield right after this.
Promising not just a degree, but an inspired direction for life's journey. An intimate college with a global alumni network. A residential campus experience, a subway ride from the capital of culture and opportunity, where you can pursue your dreams and change the world. Manhattan College has been delivering on this dream for over 150 years. Go to manhattan.edu and discover what a LaSallian Catholic college education can promise your future. Manhattan College, dreams delivered.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you? I got you, Wes. Just like old times. We'll get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
Welcome back at halftime. Fairfield with a 4-point lead over Ryder, 18-14. Our men's quarterfinal game with 20 minutes left on the clock. And welcome back inside the Mass Mutual Center, everyone. Along with Rob Kennedy, I am Doug Sherman. And we are conditioned to try and put a positive spin on every game we do. But the reality is, in this ball game, there are 12 made field goals and 21 turnovers so far.
We knew both these teams are really good defensively coming in, but we also know that they've struggled offensively. When you take a look at the highlights, maybe we're going to see all 12 of those field goals. Jonathan Thompson, he was in our spotlight one-on-one to start it off with. He's got to step it up. Derek Needham, the same thing. He had 2 field goals. Both of those were in the open floor. Once off a turnover, one of 13 in that first half for Ryder. And we figured we might as well show you the only 3 of the first half. The 2 teams combined to go 1 of 14 from beyond the 3, including 1 of 11 for Fairfield. That's a lot of deep shots when you're not making them.
Our first half statistics brought to you by New York Life. And there's not a lot good to point to right there. We'll come back and play the final 20 minutes. Fairfield on top of Ryder by 4. Welcome back to the Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. We are here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts with our score, Fairfield 18, Ryder 14. Earlier in our halftime segment, we had a chance to catch up with Colin Nickerson of the Fairfield Stags. We send it over to Ed Cohen.
Colin, you guys have gotten used to playing in games like this. What's the key, if any, to playing such a low-scoring game?
Just play as hard as you can every possession. We don't try to worry about the score too much. Just as long as we got more points than they do, then we're fine.
First 2 meetings, you got them out of their rhythm. What do you have to do in the second half to keep that going?
Just keep being physical in the post on defense, and just try to score as quick as we can, as easy as we can. So we try to execute that in the first half, and hopefully we can do it again in the second half.
Colin, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Colin. Let's take a look at our Holiday Inn one-on-one update.
Yeah, not much going for either of these 2 senior guards. You see both of them struggling. The backcourts of both these teams really struggling. For Fairfield, their 3 guards combined to go 3 of 16. On the other side for Ryder, their 3 guards, just 2 of 13. Both of these guys, they're senior leaders. They got to step up and figure out a way to find some easy buckets, whether it's in transition for Fairfield off of turnovers, or whether it's second chance opportunities for the Ryder Broncs. Broncs got a couple of putbacks early. Since then, they've had nothing go their way on the offensive glass.
In last night's first round, Derek Needham did just that. Senior leader did manage to score 24 points. It was on 8 of 21 shooting. And
we'll take that right now.
But it's going to have to take somebody to step up and, heaven forbid, put the ball in the basket.
And both teams really struggling in the half court, so you've got to find some of those easy buckets. Now, Fairfield forced 13 turnovers, but they only converted 4 of those turnovers into buckets.
Thompson, Ndiazuma, Sadler getting the start here in the second half, along with Stewart and Miles. Ryder in the home whites, and the number 2 seed in this tournament. Anthony Miles converts, and a chance for 3.
And that's where he's at his best, when he's not settling for jump shots and instead is attacking the rim. Puts the ball to the floor. Nice crossover going to his strong hand in the left. And he's got good size and upper body strength to finish once he gets inside. A 6'5" guard who presents matchup problems.
3-point play for Anthony Miles, junior from Dover, Delaware. And the lead is down to 1. For Fairfield, you've got 3 senior guards in the backcourt. Nickerson, Needham, and Wade, along with Sidibe, who sets the screen, and Maurice Barrow. Needham fouled by Sadler. First foul on Sadler, the first team foul here in the second half. Now one of the officials, Kevin Ferguson, calls time to head out and pick up some debris off the hardwood here at the Mass Mutual Center. Inbound lob, bounces out of bounds. Fairfield will keep it. Barrow dumped it off Nickerson, blocked from behind by Ndiazuma.
Every shot is challenged. You thought that was going to be an easy bucket inside, and here came 2 defenders to challenge it.
Daniel Stewart challenged to take the shot, and he travels.
Oh, we said the first 2 meetings against Fairfield, Kevin Baggett's team turned it over a combined 48 times. They've already got 14, basically at that same pace. It's a team that regularly takes pretty good care of the basketball. 15 turnovers per game. They're almost at that number already.
Needham on the screen and roll. Johnson blocked by Ndiazuma.
So twice they got into the lane, drew the defender, made the right play, dumped it off, thought it was going to be a layup. Instead, another challenged and block shot.
And there's another block shot, and then Johnson in the lane again, lost it out of bounds.
I mean, offensively, you're making the right play. You're getting into the lane, you're dropping it off for a teammate. But great defensive recovery by the Bronx to not allow any clean looks at the bucket.
Cedric Sadler into the front court.
In the last couple of years, Doug, those would have been wide open layups against the Ryder Bronx. You know, they weren't interested in guarding the way that they are, and that is a real credit for what Kevin Baggett's been able to do, instill a totally different mindset in his first season. And a lot of times that happens with the changeover of programs, but it's usually somebody coming from the outside. Remember, Kevin Baggett was a long-time assistant here at Ryder, yet moving over just that one seat, it has changed the complexion of what this team does.
Coleman Johnson called for the foul. He has 7 years as an assistant coach at Ryder, 4 as the associate head coach under Tommy Dempsey. Kevin Baggett had stops at UMBC, James Madison, Howard, Western Kentucky, Coastal Carolina. And this is his first opportunity to be a Division I head coach. And with that, he led Ryder to a second-place finish during the regular season. Miles, another tough shot. Perhaps he's going to be the one to step up. Miles is now the leading scorer in the ball game with 5 early points here in the second half.
And taking advantage of his size against the much smaller Derek Needham. Kevin Baggett said first couple of games, those small guards really bothered his big guards by getting in underneath them. And that's what happened in the first half, but you've got to use your size advantage in a positive way by taking guys and trying to score at the rim.
Foul again on Coleman Johnson, his third.
So here's Miles maneuvering in the paint. He's able to get by the much smaller defender, but then stay with it and scored over top of a bigger defender who stepped over with the weak side rotation.
Well, he is a third-team all-conference guard. His backcourt mate, Jonathan Thompson, made the second team. That was announced here in Springfield a couple of days ago. Needham and Johnson go out. Nickerson and Matthews back on. Also Gilbert on the floor. Nearly comes up with the strip. Miles. Once again, as you've been talking about, Rob, Fairfield is getting itself in good positions to score, but just not finishing the plays.
No, Wade out in open space as quick as anybody in the league. Smart play by the pass ahead by Nickerson. He makes the right play, does Wade. This goes off of Gilbert's hands. I mean, they should really have had 3 point-blank layups here to start this second half. Instead, they're scoreless in the first 3 minutes and change.
Thompson into traffic. And on the second effort, he scores.
As we said, you got to find easy baskets. They had a couple to start the ball game on offensive rebounds and putbacks.
Fairfield timeout. We'll step away with 16:23 on the clock. Ryder on top by 3.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has provided thrills and excitement to college basketball fans for over 30 years. Now you can get an inside look at the league schools and its student athletes by visiting the MAAC Experience at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Check out the MAAC's rich history and be sure to take in the featured video, A Day in the Life of a MAAC Student Athlete. Don't miss the MAAC Experience at the Basketball Hall of Fame. For more information, visit hoophall.com.
I guess this is it.
You promised to call?
I promise.
Hey, Dad. Everything's great. I really like my classes.
There's so many clubs and activities to choose from. I think I'd like to study abroad. I was accepted for an internship in New York City.
Done.
Did you just turn your ringer off so no one would interrupt us?
Oh no, I just used my Geico app to get a tow truck. It's gonna be here in 30 minutes.
Oh, so that means we won't be stuck up here for hours with nothing to do.
I get it. You wanna pass the time, huh?
Fruit Ninja!
Emergency roadside assistance. Just a click away with the Geico mobile app.
Ryder has started this second half on a 7-0 run to take a 3-point lead over Fairfield. And it's still not too late to come out to the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. The women's championship game starts at noon on Monday. The men's game will be Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Purchase your tickets for the remaining games by logging on to Ticketmaster.com or at the Mass Mutual Center box office. The 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships. Let's go. There you see the Loyola Greyhounds awaiting their turn to take the floor here at the Mass Mutual Center. They will play the 4th and final quarterfinal against the Manhattan Jaspers. See Eric Etherly there, looking very professorial with his glasses on. That's what we're used to. The photograph there, Eric. The reigning MAAC tournament player of the event, the MVP of last year's MAAC tournament, helping Loyola win the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. What do you see out of Eric Etherly here this weekend? A repeat performance, Rob?
Well, potentially, the way that he finished the regular season, his last 2 regular season games, he really stepped up his game, including a career-high 30 the last time they met the Jaspers. That's the other interesting thing about that next matchup. They just played less than a week ago.
Ndiazuma with another block shot.
Well, as they collapse on everybody inside in the paint, they got to start thinking about playing a little inside out. If everybody's going to collapse inside and you can't get anything done, you may have to kick it out to an open shooter on the perimeter.
Fairfield has its first points of the second half, a 2-point bucket by Maurice Barrow.
And that's more in his range. He can keep you honest to 15 feet, but he has a tough time converting when he stretches it out beyond the 3.
Here goes Daniel Stewart. And it's a turnover. Fairfield will have it when we come back. Ryder with a slim 1-point lead.
Thrilling.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. We'll get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
Exciting.
Super.
Intense.
Action-packed.
Inspiring.
Sensational.
Electric.
Scintillating.
Stimulating.
Check out Massachusetts.com for information on the MAAC Basketball Championships from March 7th to the 11th.
The time is now. Let's go.
MAAC fans, Fairfield University is playing in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament at Mohegan Sun Arena. And Siena College is a participant in the Old Spice Classic at the HP Fieldhouse in Orlando, Florida. That's coming up November 28th through December 1st. That's a terrific complex down there, and you've been down to the HP Fieldhouse. I was down there just before the start of this season with all 20 MAAC men's and women's coaches, Rob, and we set up in one of the luxury boxes at the baseball field that the Atlanta Braves use for their spring training home. And we did all the interviews that you have seen interspersed throughout all of our coverage throughout the year and through our broadcast here tonight. Just a terrific place to go and spend a few days if you are a fan of one of the teams that's attending that exempt event. I would highly recommend going down there. And oh, by the way, Disney World's just up the street.
That works as well. And again, the MAAC very proactive in trying to make sure that they're in a situation where they can get their teams involved in these multiple team exempt tournaments. And Rich Enser and his staff do a great job of being the host for not just the Old Spice, but as well the Hall of Fame Classic, which they announced earlier this week that they were extending that relationship with the Hall of Fame and with the city of Springfield.
Another block shot by Dira Ndiazuma.
And next year's field in that tip-off is loaded. Louisville, North Carolina, and Richmond. And oh, by the way, Monmouth will also be in it, so there will be 2 MAAC teams in it in a quirky situation. Remember, all the multiple team events can only have 1 team per leg, but since Monmouth had already signed a contract before the MAAC accepted them in, the Monmouth Hawks will be a second MAAC team in that event.
Again, keep in mind, when we reconvene here in Springfield next year, it will be an 11-team event. Nice look for the 2 by Maurice Barrow.
And that time, NDM Azuma not coming over to challenge the way that he has the last couple of times. They finally get a basket at the rim.
And Fairfield back on top, 22-21. And Monmouth and Quinnipiac will be joining the league next year, with Loyola leaving to go to the Patriot League. Miles. He has been the one with a hot hand here in the second half. And he puts Ryder back in front.
And you can use your advantage not just in the post, but you can use it getting shots off on the perimeter as well. Wade and Needham trying to come out and guard him on the perimeter, giving up a lot of size.
Barrow. Much better looking shot. Just left it short. Just over 6 minutes into the second half. Stewart spinning. Met at the rim by Marcus Gilbert. And the reach-in foul at midcourt.
Yeah, nothing's easy. Both teams challenging just about every shot that goes up.
Second foul on number 2. And the second foul against the team. And so it'll be Gilbert inbounding from the sideline.
Yeah, two teams have combined for 10 block shots. And as you know, Doug, the official scorer always misses a couple of blocks. And they have challenged just about everything, especially in the paint.
I feel like Dira Endi Azuma could have 5 by now. All by himself. Needham. It rattles out. Thompson pulls down the miss. Coast to coast, but he could not throw it down. But Thompson will go to the free throw line. Third foul on Matthews.
Well, he turns the corner and comes hard at you. Well, that would have been impressive had it gone. Pretty impressive even on a missed shot and a foul.
And so the 74% foul shooter, John Thompson, gets the first of 2.
And he had a terrific game last year in their quarterfinal matchup against the Stags. Went for 19 in that game, including 4 threes. And much like tonight, that was a closely contested game. Fairfield able to win it 63-65. Not quite sure we're going to get that type of scoring outburst here. But again, two teams that match up very well against each other.
Needham, dump it off Nickerson. And even though he's 3 feet from the basket, probably smartly brings it back out. We have seen repeatedly where those shots have been blocked tonight, so they work from a different angle and Needham scores. Endi Azuma had it knocked away by Matthews. 3-on-2 Fairfield. Nickerson cuts to the basket for 2.
And that's where they can get some offense going, when they can get out in transition. Another Ryder turnover turns into an easy bucket at the other end for Sidney Johnson's team. Well, you turn the turnover into a quick 2 at the other end. Nice Euro step across the defender by Nickerson. So many times these two Chicago natives have played together for the last 4 years and really know what each other is going to do, especially out on the break.
Well, this has truly been a block party, one after another at both ends of the floor, Rob.
No, nothing's been easy. Both teams challenging, weak side rotations coming over. You know, we talk about the offense has been a struggle, but you got to like and credit the way that both teams are not giving up anything on the defensive end. Yes, it's a low-scoring game. Yes, it's been ugly offensively, but it has been some terrific and stellar defense both ways.
No question about that. 12:39 left in regulation. There you see the official block tally, 7-3 Ryder to Fairfield.
That last turnover, the 16th on the ball game for Ryder. They're going to win this ball game. They got to start taking care of the rock.
Number 17.
No, you can't beat good teams if you're going to turn it over like that. Fairfield struggling offensively, can't score the basketball, but if you keep giving them extra opportunities by turning it over 17 times, you're in a heap of trouble.
And we saw a similar instance in our first quarterfinal here this afternoon where Siena, in trying to upset the number 1 seed from Niagara, turned the basketball over 19 times.
Well, Needham, last couple of possessions, has been able to get himself to the rim, not settling for threes, but instead finding some driving lanes.
Second foul on Fortunat. Third against Ryder, and so Derek Needham to the line shooting 2. Well, Needham did make the Bob Cousy Award watch list of 82 players. He is not a finalist, but among some of the better point guards in the country. Here in Springfield, we're not too far from where Bob Cousy's legend began at Holy Cross in the city of Worcester. Is that an hour from here, you think? Not quite?
No, yep. Get down the Mass Pike.
8 minutes gone here in the second half. Fortunat able to avoid another turnover off the pass by Stewart.
And it's hand-to-hand combat inside in the paint.
And there you go. Matthews and Stewart get tied up as the ball goes out of bounds. We'll take a break. Kevin Baggett's Ryder Bronx down by 3.
The ones who inspire us. The ones who make us laugh. The ones with the strong shoulder to lean on. The ones we're named after. And the ones named after us. It takes all kinds of good to make a family. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and the Jimmy Fund are partnering up to support the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships. The Jimmy Fund raises funds for adult and pediatric cancer and research to improve the chances of survival for cancer patients around the world. To contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund, text Jimmy to 22122.
Everyone here at Iona College has a great spirit of enthusiasm as students start to see our facilities and speak to our faculty. They realize this college gives our students a great opportunity to learn more about themselves and go on to fantastic careers in whatever field they choose.
The first thing that strikes you when you arrive at campus is the beautiful buildings and grounds. But above all, Iona focuses on students and student success. And Iona is an institution that changes lives.
Back in Springfield, Massachusetts, Fairfield holding on to a 3-point lead. And a moment ago, Ed Cohen chatted with Stags head coach Sidney Johnson.
Sidney, two similar teams, similar matchup. Where will this game be won?
Maybe at the free throw line. You know, I think both teams are grinding it out. They also have the ability to make threes, so we've got to watch out for that. But maybe at the free throw line, we'll see.
Derek Needham, 2 for 9 in the first half. What have you seen in terms of how he's attacked after halftime?
He's just being a little bit more aggressive, but he's staying within himself, and that's really important. We need him to score. We're as good as our guards play, so we'll see how it works out.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Sidney Johnson, native of Lansing, Michigan, and the only 3-time captain in the history of Princeton University basketball.
No, it's a terrific player and also a terrific winner. He was a winner as a player. He was a winner as the head coach at Princeton. You know, he came into a situation where the Tigers need to be rebuilt, and he did a tremendous job turning things around. Took them to the NCAA tournament, and in his first year here at Fairfield, almost took the Stags to the NCAA tournament, losing a heartbreaker in the final last year to Loyola in another low-scoring defensive battle, 48-44.
There you see the connection to Princeton through being a Georgetown assistant as well. John Thompson III had him on his staff from 04 to 07. And explain, if you would, Rob, as we watch this, I mean, what elements of that so-called Princeton element are most obvious in what Fairfield runs?
Well, the one thing with Sidney, even when he was at Princeton, they run less of the true back to the original roots, Princeton offense, than any of the other guys in that coaching tree. But still, it's about trying to get matchups and try to take advantage of mismatches. That's one of the things that Pete Carrill always did. Whether it was putting guys that were lefties on the right side of the floor so they could drive the ball into the middle of the floor, whatever it was, or taking high post centers and forcing the defense to come guard him outside. So he's still, even though they don't run a lot of the same sets, still trying to create those matchup problems to the benefit of their offense.
Fourth foul on Keith Matthews. And so Amadou Sidibe will come back in and replace Matthews.
And you got to move your feet. He has reached around a couple of times trying to defend in the post. And if you reach around, he got away with one where he was able to poke it away. But that's not going to happen very often.
Sadler hits the pull-up. Back to a one-point game. Gilbert lost it. Thompson just forced the turnover. He dribbles now at the head of the key. Frees himself for the open shot. Sidibe outworks Fortunat for it, but then he couldn't save it from going out of bounds, so Bronx basketball.
And every time the ball goes up, those two guys just turn and start wrestling with each other. I mean, Fortunat.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, Fortunat and Sidibe, I mean, call a foul on somebody. They just kind of mug it up like a boxer in a corner. Need the official to step in and send them to neutral corner.
Nordine Lindsay calls for the ball back so he can feed Stewart on the post.
A good recognition by Stewart. Faces up, realizes the double's coming.
Thompson left it on the front rim. Got it back, still working hard, and there's the foul called against Amadou Sidibe.
Well, how about the strength of Jonathan Thompson to rip that basketball away from Sidibe. Sidibe, as we said, the MAAC co-rookie of the year, not for his scoring, but because of his defense and rebounding ability. But the guard Thompson able to strip it away. No call underneath, but I guess the guy trailing saw some contact from behind.
And Sidibe, who was born in Brooklyn, grew up in West Africa, and moved back to New York City. Went to high school at Cardinal Hayes in New York. Picks up his third personal. Pass goes untouched out of bounds into the Fairfield bench.
That time Barrow sensing a double, but what he didn't do, which on the other side you saw from Danny Stewart, is face up and see where that double was coming from to be able to figure out where to deliver the basketball.
Just past the midpoint here of the second half. The winner of this ball game will move on to the MAAC semifinal round to take on the winner of our next quarterfinal, pitting the Manhattan Jaspers and the Loyola Greyhounds. Sadler the foul, and Needham will head back to the free throw line with a chance to give Fairfield the lead once again.
And they need him to get going, and he's done that out in transition. You heard Sidney Johnson talking to Ed Cohen earlier about how he's being aggressive, he's attacking the rim, but he's still playing within himself. And what that means is not just settling for some guarded deep threes.
The 2010 MAAC Rookie of the Year, trying to make the second, and he swishes it through to put Fairfield back on top. Tough shot for Sadler. Picked up his dribble on the post and had nowhere else to go.
No, and he was looking for a teammate, but when nobody came open, he was forced to put it up to avoid a 5-second call.
Needham covers a lot of ground but can't finish. Nickerson hounding Thompson.
All over.
Fortunat puts it up and in.
Now, fortunate to gather that basketball. Didn't make a clean catch, but smartly kept his feet on the floor so that he didn't get called for a travel.
Needham glances up at the shot clock, which reads 6. Shot clock continues to wind down off the air ball. Here comes Sadler. Nice look to Stewart. Blocked from behind by Barrow. And then the foul.
Well, that was a great feed out in transition, but again, everybody recovering to the basketball. How many times have we seen a challenged defender? Danny Stewart thought he had an easy one, and how about that run up the floor to wipe that away? Yet another block shot, and that is one heck of an athletic play by Maurice Barrow.
So Fortunat, who is 1 for 4 so far tonight from the line.
And that's why that's such a smart foul when he comes up with the offensive rebound. You know, scouting report coaches go over it all the time, and here's where it becomes important. Fortunat's got the ball at the rim. You got to foul him. 39% on the season coming in.
Derek Needham gets a quick breather on the Fairfield bench as we are almost to our under 8 timeout zone. Fortunat gets the second.
I was going to say the shooter's role, but
well, he was the shooter.
Yeah.
Fairfield down by 2 with the basketball. Wade, Nickerson, Gilbert, Barrow, and Sidibe.
Look at that hedge by Stewart and his athletic ability to get back deep into the paint.
Nickerson with the shot clock at 2. Hand check called against Desmond Wade. 7:23 to go. Kevin Baggett's club trying to hang on for a spot in the MAAC semifinals. Welcome back to the Mass Mutual Center. Ryder with a 2-point lead over Fairfield in our third men's quarterfinal of the MAAC Basketball Championships. And the 2013 MAAC Baseball Championship will be held at Waterfront Park in Trenton, New Jersey from May 23rd through the 26th. Make sure to come out and support your MAAC team. And Rob Kennedy, I attended last year's MAAC Baseball Championship. Had a good time there. Top 4 teams in the league wind up getting together. They'll do the same down in Trenton coming up in a couple of months. Did you hear or see any of the Mariano Rivera press conference this morning from Tampa?
Yep, I saw the beginning of it. Pretty much actually all of it. I was in the hotel getting ready for the game.
Yep.
So
it is something.
Yep.
Heading into his final year.
And clearly he was going to retire last year but didn't want to go out with that injury. And you got to love the competitive spirit of him to come back and try to finish on a high note.
Yep. John Thompson makes the first free throw and will get the bonus. That was the 8th team foul of the half against Fairfield. Only 4 team fouls called so far here in the half against Ryder.
I also like the way that he started the press conference by saying it was nice of the Yanks to break stride and give him an extension before he was done. Nobody bought that.
Well, the reason I thought about the Yankees is because Waterfront Park in Trenton is the home of the AA Yankees.
Yep, Trenton Thunder. In a close, low-scoring ball game like this, neither team wants to get themselves on the backside of the wrong distance here, as now Ryder is stretching out to a 4-point lead. The way this pace is going, that's more like an 8 to 10-point lead.
Bodies crash to the floor. Des Wade gets up, and does he manage to keep possession? He does. Both sides are going to need a lot of ice bags after this one.
No, it has been hand-to-hand combat.
Yep.
We've seen the ball go up in the air and guys just turn and start grabbing and clutching each other. The officials have allowed it to be physical play.
And Nuri Lindsay had both of his hands fully wrapped around the opponent, grabbing at the jersey, and then turns and looks at the official. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I didn't foul him.
No, because he said, you've been letting us do it that way for most of the game.
Fairfield down by 4. Acrobatic shot by Derek Needham.
Wow, talk about his athletic ability. He went up, thought he was going to finish on the left side of the rim, came all the way to the other side, able to stretch out long enough to get some English on the basketball.
Lindsay spins into the double team, goes to the floor and lost the basketball.
Well, either way, it was going to be a turnover, whether he gave it away or he traveled with the basketball. And here's this same play that they get the backdoor layup on earlier in the ball game.
Wade spins away from Thompson. Can't find one of his teammates. It goes out of bounds over to the Bronx.
Well, here's this incredible acrobatic play.
Wow.
I mean, he got himself all the way to the other side of the rim. Well, that is one heck of a finish.
And also recognizing that Nickerson was about to turn the ball over, and he sprinted towards him, took the pass, and made a beautiful basket. Thompson, tough shot.
Wow.
Rattles it in. Back to a 4-point game.
That was a really difficult shot. Nickerson hanging all over.
And Thompson the first to reach double figures now with 10. Needham with the basketball has 9 to lead Fairfield. Five to shoot. Johnson makes the jump shot, which prompts his coach to call timeout.
A great defense the entire time as the shot clock's winding down, but presence of mind by Des Wade to not panic when he got himself deep in the lane. Instead, able to find a wide open Coleman Johnson.
Well, we've been leafing through the MAAC record book to find the lowest scoring game in tournament history, and we've got to go back 4 years, 83 total points when Marist defeated Iona 43-40. And you can see that is well within reach, because we've got 66 points scored. What do you think, Rob? Going to get there?
Tell you what, unless we get a burst of offense, I don't think we're getting there. And I don't think we're getting there because neither team is given an inch defensively. Largest lead for either team has been 4 points. Nobody's been able to get any type of separation. That's much the same way that Fairfield's game that we talked about earlier, when they were in that epic low-scoring game, when they were unable to beat Manhattan. They ended up losing 34-31. It was a 7-0 run at the end of that ball game that finally got some separation.
And consecutive baskets in this game would constitute a run.
No question. Absolutely.
Fairfield defensively all over Ryder. Anthony Miles. Back out to John Thompson. Here's Dan Stewart. Called for the charge.
And certainly you want him to be aggressive, but that was an easy one. He's got himself a 5-footer. You don't have to make it a 3-footer. Just pull up and score that basketball. He's a good face-up shooter. The defense is right there. That's an easy one.
Second foul on Stewart, number 6 on the Bronx here in the half. Next one will put him over the limit. Barrow, little give and go back to Johnson. Big rebound by Stewart. Thompson, terrific look. And Diazuma, though, had it blocked from behind by Johnson. Sadler, pull up. And a foul on the rebound. We'll step away with 3:54 on the clock. Ryder 34, Fairfield 32.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logoed shirts and hats for your company. Make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
So, if you have a flat tyre, dead battery, need a tow or lock your keys in the car, Geico's emergency roadside assistance is there 24/7. Oh dear, I got a flat tyre. Yeah, can you find a take where it's a bit more dramatic on that last line, yeah? Yeah, I got it right here.
Someone help me! I have a flat tyre!
Oh, it's good for me. What do you think?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew? Is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. We'll get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
The 2013 MAAC basketball tournament is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Anaconda Sports, home of The Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. The Jimmy Fund. Text Jimmy to 22122 to contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund today. Geico. See how Geico can save you 15% or more on your car insurance by visiting geico.com today. And by the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Visit Massachusetts.com for more information. Let's go. Well, as we further look back through the MAAC tournament record books, we can see that the Marist Red Foxes' dubious record for fewest points in a single game from the 2011 championships will stay in the record books, at least for another game. Marist scored only 31 points in that contest. 34-32, Ryder with the lead. They can't build on that as Stewart missed the foul shot. Needham. Big three-point shot.
After struggling all game long, just their second three of the ball game gives Fairfield the 1-point lead.
Nothing comes easy at the rim.
Oh, and smart play by India Zuma to go try and dunk the basketball. But another challenge block shot. That may not go in the scorebook as a block, but it was.
And there's another one. But this time the foul is called.
Well, coming down the stretch, we always talk about how hard it is to send seniors home. Derek Needham doesn't want this to be his last college basketball game. Stepping right into that three. Good execution in their half court. Just the second three on the game for the Stags.
Meanwhile, for Ryder, you've got senior Jonathan Thompson and senior Dira Ndiazuma certainly not wanting their college careers to fall short here in the MAAC quarterfinals. And we heard Coach Johnson tell us a few minutes ago that he thought this game might come down to free throw shooting.
Oh, in a close ball game so many times it does. Remember, a missed 1-and-1 on the one end by Danny Stewart, and on the other end, a conversion twice from the line.
Barrow with the knockaway.
And that was great post defense. He moved his feet to get around, where earlier in the game we saw Keith Matthews try to reach from behind and get whistled for the foul.
Under 2.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Fairfield with the basketball and a 3-point lead. Needham trying for a second three. Not that time. Big rebound by Zedric Sadler.
And that would have been huge.
Miles missed the putback.
I mean, put on the football pad.
Timeout, Des Wade.
Well, both teams leaving it out on the floor. Bodies flying everywhere.
And how about the entire Fairfield team coming from the bench past midcourt to celebrate the hustle with their teammates?
Well, again, it looks like it's going to be an easy bucket here. Nickerson nearly able to pick the pocket. Everybody going to the floor. I thought Thompson was going to knock this one down after all that. How about Miles going above everybody? But nobody can finish a play because nobody's conceding anything. And you're right, the entire bench came out led by Sidney Johnson. He was the first guy coming out. Sidney looks like he could still step out there and play. You mentioned a terrific player at Princeton. Former Ivy League player of the year. He said neither team has had a lead bigger than 4 points. Which team's going to be able to execute offensively coming down the stretch is going to be the key. You know, both of them have guarded so hard and so well, but somebody's got to execute late in the ball game to secure a win.
Well, Ryder has committed 21 turnovers, and in spite of that, they trail Sidney Johnson's club by only 3.
Remember, each of the last 2 half-court offensive sets, they've gone to Derek Needham. Let's see if they go back to him. But maybe not for a 3. See if he can't put it to the deck and attack the basket.
Johnson with a clean look. Thompson had the rebound, fortunate to get it to Stewart. He saved it from underneath that basket, and he was lucky to find a teammate.
Even though Coleman Johnson's open, you can't have him be the guy taking that shot. The freshman averages 2.5 points per game. Inside of 2 minutes, you got to ride your best player.
The winner of this ball game, I should say the survivor of this ball game, will move into the semifinals to face the winner of our final quarterfinal of the night. Coming up at the conclusion of this one, it'll be Loyola against Manhattan. Top half of the bracket, 1 and 4, Niagara and Iona like to get up and down. And whichever teams make it to the second semifinal probably won't have quite the same tempo.
No, as we said, the top half of the bracket had the best offensive teams in the league. The bottom has the best defensive teams in the league.
There's Steve Masiello, the head coach of the Manhattan Jaspers, who is among the head coaches who preach defense.
And he's seen this before. Remember, a couple of games ago, his Manhattan Jaspers able to survive the game against these Fairfield Stags. 34-31, the second lowest point total in NCAA history since the advent of the shot clock and three-point line.
Rob, we do have an actual run, a 7-0 run by Fairfield. Snapped there by Danny Stewart.
Oh, good, quick, athletic play. He was aggressive that time, using his quickness to get by the defender. Again, last half-court offensive possession, they ended up with a shot from Coleman Johnson. It's got to be to one of your seniors and one of those guards here on this possession.
Timeout. Fairfield.
Well, nothing was happening. Good defense by the Ryder Bronx to keep the basketball out of Needham's hands.
So Sidney Johnson with 17 seconds to shoot. I presume is going to be trying to find Derek Needham here one way or another.
Well, let him make a play. Put the ball in his hands and see whether or not he can get by people. If the defense collapses, then fine. Drop it off to somebody else. But Sidney Johnson has talked about it all season long. They were going to be as good as his senior guards. And certainly you got to put the ball in his hands. Now, defensively, you know that Jonathan Thompson's the guy that they're going to want on Derek Needham, knowing that the basketball's going there. As we said, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And the reason why Sidney Johnson had to take that timeout is because they were keeping the basketball out of Needham's hands.
Needham is the only Fairfield scorer so far in the ball game in double figures with 12. Jonathan Thompson is the lead scorer for Ryder with 10.
And if they keep him again unable to get the basketball, Doug Wade is certainly good enough to be able to get by people into the lane and dish off and find somebody else. So if they overcommit to keeping the basketball out of Needham's hands, we'll look for a dribble breakdown by Des Wade to get in the lane to try to make something happen.
And I shorted Needham a point. He's got 13.
And we need all those points, Doug. Don't take any of them away.
Absolutely. Not only 5 of 6 16 shooting, but that's just kind of how this ball game has gone right from the start. It was 18-14 Fairfield at halftime. The clock in the arena says 18 on the shot clock. The one that we see says 17.
And notice that Gilbert's not in the ball game. In that second half, he went to the bench. Looked like he may have jammed his finger. Takes away one of their better offensive weapons.
Tough pass for Needham to handle. He has to go quickly now. Foul on the way up against Miles.
They had Miles on the reach-in before Danny Stewart was able to step in and take the charge. That was a tough pass for Needham to handle. As soon as he caught it, he looked up and saw the shot clock and knew that he had to put the ball to the floor to just try to make something happen.
And so 2 free throws for Derek Needham.
And you said it just a minute ago. Ed Cohen asked Sidney Johnson what he thought the game might come down to a few minutes ago. He said it might come down to the foul line.
second-team All-MAAC guard from the south side of Chicago makes it a three-point game.
And neither one of those touched the rim.
Thompson guarded by Nickerson. Still with the basketball. Back out to Miles. Strong to the basket and a foul.
Now, smart play. You're down 3. You don't have to worry about the three-point shot. Put some pressure on the defense and put some pressure on the officials by driving the basketball. See if you can't get yourself to the line.
Although at the line tonight, Ryder is only 10 for 20 as a team.
If you're going to win a close game, you're going to have to do better than that.
Miles is 1 for 1, now 2 for 2.
And on this made foul shot, if he's able to convert, Ryder will get up in the full court pressure.
Wade replaces Nickerson.
Well, Nickerson just a 61% shooter from the line. Wade at 74%, so you trade those 13 percentage points late in the ball game.
Went for the foul there in the backcourt. Lost a couple of seconds off the clock, and so now Derek Needham will head to the free throw line to shoot a 1-and-1. That was the 9th team foul.
And they gave up the quick foul. I would have rather seen Sadler come running at Derek Needham to try and trap the basketball. See if you can at least get one pass out there. See if you get a deflection or a steal, and then give up the foul. That's not the guy I would want on the line if I was a Ryder Bronc fan.
Needham gets the friendly bounce.
You see that extended follow through though? He kept that up there. He wanted to make sure he got every bit of the rotation, able to climb in over the front rim.
Fairfield is out of timeouts. Ryder's got 2 remaining. The Broncs are down by 3.
Didn't need the roll on that one. Nothing but nylon. Still enough time. You don't have to settle for a 3. You got to take whatever the defense gives you. Not giving them anything, so Kevin Baggett wants to talk it over.
So at this point, down by 3 with only 13.8 seconds to work with. If you're Ryder, are you going for the 3, Rob?
Well, you don't have to, but certainly Jonathan Thompson, remember, he's the top three-point shooter percentage-wise in the entire MAAC at 43%. So whatever you've got is your best sideline out of bounds. We talk about how important specials are at the end-of-game situations. Whatever your best sideline out of bounds play is, go to it right now. If it gets you quick 2, no problem. Get up in the full court pressure. But if you can figure out a way to free up Jonathan Thompson for a 3, if you're Kevin Baggett, you'll take it. Because again, at 43%, that's playing percentages.
There you see the possession arrow favors Fairfield with that 3-point lead. The Stags led by 4 at halftime, lead by 3 right now in what has been a hotly contested, tight ball game right from the start. We had one 7-0 run earlier here in the second half by Fairfield, and that has been the difference to put Fairfield back on top and try to hang on for a spot in tomorrow afternoon semifinals.
And the other factor with Ryder still having the 1 timeout left, if you get the quick 2, obviously the clock's going to stop anyway, but it now really allows you to set up in a full court pressure if you take the timeout on that make.
Sidney Johnson sends his Stags back out onto the floor with their final instructions.
And Colin Nickerson, the guy with the defensive assignment on Thompson. With his size and ability to guard on the perimeter, that's a good matchup both ways.
Here's Thompson with Nickerson on him. Under 10 seconds now. Thompson drives to the basket, and a foul is called with 6.8 on the clock. So it'll be a 2-shot foul. Nickerson called for his 3rd.
And so now if you're Kevin Baggett, you don't have to call the timeout to set your defense. Thompson, much like Needham did on the last one, able to get that friendly roll on the front of the rim.
And just like Needham, the swish. Got to get the ball in. Dangerous pass. Still loose. Needham's got it. And the foul called against Miles.
And boy, was that a dangerous pass.
Wow.
Remember, Fairfield, without any timeouts, had to inbound the basketball. And that was just sheer hustle, determination, and athleticism by Derek Needham to come up with that basketball.
And that might be a game-winning play right there.
Kind of like a safety saving a potential touchdown pass. He was able to close quickly on that loose ball.
Ryder uses its final timeout.
And I'd rather save it till you see what the situation is here on this second foul shot. Potentially use it to advance the basketball up to half court. Still have time to maybe call that timeout. But here now you have to set both scenarios. On a miss, what are we going to do? See, I like to hold it because if they miss it and you rebound the basketball, now you're able to call timeout and still give yourself a chance to advance the basketball without the clock running. Now by utilizing that last timeout, if Needham misses this shot, now you're down to 3.3 seconds left. Really hard to rebound and still get an opportunity to get a decent shot up.
Are you a proponent that if Fairfield makes free throw here, Ryder would then get fouled by Fairfield to try and protect from a three that would tie?
I like it, especially we're in 3.3 seconds left. I would rather take my chances on giving up the foul than allowing somebody a decent look from three. But you got to make sure you've practiced it.
Needham makes it a three-point game.
And last year in the same situation, Fairfield gave up a foul. You just got to be careful you make a play at the basketball. Freshman mistake by Coleman Johnson to just reach around at his waist. Last year we said in their quarterfinal matchup, Fairfield ended up winning that game by 2. Exact same situation where Ryder was down 3. Fairfield gave up the foul, not allowing them to get off a clean look from 3.
Fourth foul on Coleman Johnson. Nuruddin Lindsay.
That was the key. Needed to make that one. Here comes the substitution. Smart move by Kevin Baggett. You're going to get Fortunat into the game. The play here now is that Lindsay's got to miss this foul shot. And they've got their two bigs, their two best rebounders in there. Fortunat as well as Danny Stewart to see if they can come up with an offensive rebound and put back.
Lindsay makes it.
That's not what he was trying to do.
0.6 of a second came off the clock, and now only 0.6 remain. And we walk back to the other end. And oh, by the way, Rob, this will not be the lowest scoring game in MAAC tournament history now that they have gotten to 43-42. That Marist-Iona game from 4 years ago will stand for now.
It's been foul shooting that's got us in a situation where we're not going to set that record.
Looks like the officials, Rob, are over to the scorer's table to check to make sure they've got the right amount of time left up on the clock.
What was it, 1.2 when he went to the foul line?
I believe so.
So if it's 1.2, you inbound the basketball and then give up the foul. They say it's as much as a half a second potential between starting and stopping it. End of the game, you want to certainly make sure that you've got your timing situations right. But if they're going to put any time back on the clock, not quite sure how you're going to be able to slice that one down. Right, 1.2 on the clock. Lindsay was trying to miss it. That didn't happen. Ball comes in. I think the clock may have started a little bit late, but then got stopped maybe late. Again, he caught the basketball. It's not like the foul was given immediately. To me, play on.
I agree.
Clearly, when he caught the basketball, the clock doesn't start right away. So when you take a look at this, ball's going to go in. The clock is still correct. It hasn't started. But watch. Here comes Needham. He catches the basketball open for a second. I mean, you could make a case. Clearly, it didn't start right away, but you could make a case that maybe 1.2 seconds went off completely. If anything, time should be taken off the clock. Certainly, there should not be time put back on the clock.
But then again, we're watching that in slow-mo, and it takes an instant for a human being sitting at the scorer's table to see it and react.
And that's why I can't.
It can't be instantaneous.
No, absolutely. And he caught it.
Yeah.
And had some space. So if they put more time on this clock, they're way smarter than I am.
Well, I guess they're smarter than you are, because we're hearing they're going to put .9 on there.
I would beg to differ on that one, because there's no way that 0.3 seconds came off that clock. I mean, you could play it 107 more times. There's no way that that's correct.
Well, that's what they've come up with. Needham trying to make it a 3-point game, but that 3/10 added actually gives Ryder a chance to catch and release.
That's correct. So now you can catch and shoot it as opposed to a tip it. And this is the first. So now they do not create the opportunity to foul again like they did last time. He might be better off missing this one.
He misses it. Can they get off the shot? No.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. With 0.9 seconds, you're better off missing that one than making it.
So Sidney Johnson's Fairfield Stags have won back-to-back nights. And the number 7 seed moves on to the semifinals, taking out the number 2 seed from Ryder.
You know, most teams, if you score 43 points, you say, oh my goodness, what's going on? The Stags are comfortable playing at that pace. You know, they've come in averaging under 50 in each of their last 4 games. It's been a struggle shooting the ball in those 4 games, a struggle offensively again tonight, but their defense just good enough to get them a 1-point win, and most importantly, advance them on in our bracket.
Sidney Johnson turned out to be prescient when asked during the second half what might determine the winner of that ball game. He said free throws. His team, namely Derek Needham, made his free throws, and so the Stags move into the semifinal round to take on the winner of our next game between Loyola and Manhattan. We'll take a break and come back to Springfield, Mass. with our post-game report.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save.
Welcome back to the Mass Mutual Center. 43-42. Fairfield hangs on to beat Ryder and move on to the semifinals. Ed Cohen standing by with a winning coach. Ed?
Well, Doug, earlier you said it's not about winning, it's about surviving. Sidney Johnson, how did you survive this game tonight?
We survived with number 3, man. I mean, it brings me to tears. The kid's been a joy to coach. He's welcomed me with open arms, and he just showed a lot of toughness, and that's
that's why we won, because of number 3.
There's something about big game experience. He's on to the semifinals for the 4th time in his career. What did you see in terms of how he took over the game?
Well, he's been an all-conference guy for 4 years. It's going to be really hard to replace him, but he just knows how to do it, and he did it within the team concept, which is, I love.
Last 3 games of the regular season, it was tough for Fairfield. You come in here as a 7th seed. What changed the last few nights?
Well, we've talked about Springfield all year long. So people ask me, are we upping our game? No, we've focused on Springfield. And these guys have been game ready for 31 games, and now here we are performing pretty well.
Congratulations on another semifinal.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Sidney Johnson, head coach of Fairfield. Of course, he talked about you, Derek Needham, the senior. A sigh of relief. Take us through your emotions, being at the line and closing it out.
That may be the easiest part of the game. The hard part was the last 39 minutes. I couldn't hit a shot. My teammates tell me kept going. My conditioning coach had me run wind sprints this whole week and then step to the free throw line and make shots. And that's what the game came down to. And now I just try to make every shot for my team.
2 games, 2 wins in 24 hours. So you're saying you're not tired yet?
Ice bath is my best friend right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Derek Needham and the Stags headed to the MAAC semifinals once again, guys.
All right, thank you, Ed. And our Pepsi Max player of the game indeed was Derek Needham for leading his team into the semifinal round.
Well, the Stags shoot at under 30%, but they're able to survive and advance with their defense, forcing those 21 turnovers by the Rider Broncs.
Once again, our final score, Fairfield 43, Rider 42. Join us later tonight for our next MAAC Basketball Championship broadcast on ESPN3. Our coverage continues shortly with the men's 4th quarterfinal featuring 3rd-seeded Loyola and 6th-seeded Manhattan. For Rob Kennedy, Ed Cohen, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Springfield, Massachusetts. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.